Well, with the countdown on for Bayfield's famous Apple Festival, local growers are watching a much different clock, waiting on the rain.
Yeah, severe drought is threatening Wisconsin's premier fruit-growing region just weeks before tens of thousands of visitors arrive.
Northern News Now's Kari Johnson is in Bayfield with how farmers are fighting to save their season.
Local orchards here in Bayfield are preparing to welcome thousands of visitors come their peak season. But farmers are navigating a severe drought that's left them questioning what the harvest is going to look like ahead of their biggest event of the year.
These trees here are pretty resilient. They're 80-some years old, so they've lasted through the test of time.
But even resilient trees struggle to produce a fruit that's 90% water.
The leaves are curling. That's dryness.
And growers are looking far beyond this season.
When they get stressed, they'll tend to take almost a year off and not give you the fruit that you really want for the following year.
Which is why farmers have to stay creative to survive.
It's a hard hit, but that's why we have a store and a bakery. You have to be very diversified on a farm in order to make it.
It's exactly what keeps them afloat. Erickson now presses 70% of its crop into cider, while Hausers has added a tap room and new crops.
We do plants in the spring, plants, annuals and perennials, and then we do apples in the fall. So the job always changes all the time.
But farming is always a gamble, and Mother Nature ultimately calls the shots.
Then all of a sudden you get the wrong fall or the wrong spring, and then you lose the whole tree, and then you got to start over.
Now the focus already shifts to next year and the long-term fallout of a historic drought.
I have to keep telling myself that it'll be okay and we'll survive. You know, it's farming.
Growers say they're prepared for Apple Festival no matter what the harvest brings. That event kicks off the first full weekend in October. In Bayfield, Kari Johnson, Northern News Now.
Now, even if there are some good rains in the next month, the National Weather Service warns it won't quickly reverse the drought due to the deep soil moisture deficits.